Wow. Awesome. So I'm in Melbourne, Australia, and I'm a management consultant, and I'm working my 80-hour weeks, and I'm stressing, and I get home really late at night, and it's really late, and I get a text message. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm really hoping that it's like a booty call or something really important, right? And it's this: do you know anything about eGov? That's the last thing I want at 2 o'clock in the morning, but as a management consultant, you're an expert generalist, which means you know a little bit about everything, until they pay you money, and then you become an expert in the thing they want you to do. And so I told my friend Matt, like, yeah, I know a little bit. I wrote a thing about technology and social media and government a few weeks ago. 2 days later, I'm in his office talking about this big idea. We're going to change the face of democracy. We're going to get people putting up ideas, voting for them, and then get government leaders to respond to those ideas online. So the goal, fix democracy. The model, people put up questions, vote for those questions, government responds. The business model will sell these insights, these analytics to government. It's going to be amazing. And so we're chipping away at this thing, and we launched in 2010 during the federal election, and we went big fast, right? We had diva syndrome before there was diva syndrome. We were out there, we're all over the press, we're working with the Australian Prime Minister, we're partnering with Google, we're on the front of every single newspaper that these young people are transforming democracy, they're going to change the world. And then I got a call from a friend of mine who was a researcher at the University of Melbourne, which is one of the top universities in Australia. And she says, Eyal, I've got this cool idea. I want to research how social media affects the upcoming federal election in 2013. And we're going to pay you, Arce, to scale your platform across Australia to 10 locations to do that piece of research. And all I heard was, we're going to pay you to scale your company. And so I said, great, let's do this thing. And also, to this point, we've been doing project to project. We hadn't done anything where it was 10 simultaneous things at one time. It was one thing at a time, right? So I was like, oh my God, this is exactly the next level of what we need to do. So I thought, well, what do leaders do? And so here I am at my leadership moment, at the peak of my career. I'm 27 years old. I'm running a startup. It's scaling. Nothing can touch me. I am invincible, right? And my next leadership challenge is to do what? Set a big goal, build a team, and look really cool and confident. Because that's what leaders do. And so I did. I set a big goal, 1 million users. Get the users, the money will come. We've got 10 locations. Let's build a team of people and delegate. Each one's responsible for 100,000 users in each of these locations. Start calling people, get them on the platform, it'll work, right? And then when anything goes wrong, just look confident. And keep saying the same thing over and over again. Probably what Shai was up to. Now I think the way that you test your leadership is not based on the good times when you're on the front page of the news, but actually in the times when things aren't working. And so this is one of my favorite images of what it's like to be an entrepreneur. In fact, if this was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it looks like that. Or sometimes it's like 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and every hour it feels like it's like, hell yeah, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, hell yeah, oh fuck. There's a lot more oh fucks than hell yeahs, of course, right? And it's what you do in the oh fuck moments that really matters, not the hell yes. But when you're in this position of invincibility, all you're thinking about is how do I get more hell yes and avoid the oh fucks as much as possible. And so when it came to the oh fuck moments, my strategy was this: avoid, blame, and carry on. So avoid the difficult conversations, blame my team for not being able to do what I asked them to do, and then just look really cool and confident, keep saying the same thing over and over again, right? And so I did this over and over again. I remember one of my staff members, Mia, as I walked into the office, and you know your team isn't working when you walk into your office and it takes you 45 minutes to get from the door to the kitchen to make yourself a cup of coffee, because everyone's asking you the same question and you keep giving the same answer, right? So Mia comes up to me and she says, Eyal, I've called every organization on the list. None of them want to post questions on the app. What do you want me to do next? And I was like, Mia, get a longer list, call more people. Avoid the difficult conversation with Mia, blame her for incompetence, and carry on looking cool. And it came to the end of this project. We've been working on this for multiple months. We're building a family. It's lunchtime sessions. Everyone's getting connected and swapping notes about how they're completely failing at delivering on the promise. Rather than 100,000 people per location, we're looking more like 1,000 people if we're lucky. And we're going to run events in all 10 locations across the country. So here we are going to remote parts of Australia, spending way more money than we've got. I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on getting people to different locations just to make this thing work. And we're coming to the final event. 9 events have been run. It's the 10th event. It's in the city of Melbourne. We've got the editor of The Age, which is the most popular newspaper in Australia who's moderating the event. We've got all the candidates for the seat of Melbourne there. We've got hundreds of people that are coming to this event to come and experience digital democracy in the modern era. What is this amazing experiment that these young people have put on? And we're getting ready, and the office is buzzing. People are sending out press releases. They're sorting out the name tags. They're getting ready, and I get a call from Gautam, my business partner and CFO. Eyal, we need to speak. Gautam, is it urgent? We're about to go down to the final event. Yes, it's urgent. Okay, one sec. Step into office. Into meeting room. What's up? Eyal, we need to let everyone go. What? We don't have enough money to pay them next week. It's Thursday. If they make it to Monday, we're screwed. We go bankrupt. Okay. I had nothing to say. I just went pale. My heart dropped. I was like, I can't let them go right now. And I can't let them go tomorrow either because it's the end of this project. We've got this family thing going on. I walk out the meeting room. Amelia, one of the members of my team, looks at me. I said nothing. She's like, oh my God, it's over. I was like, what? No. She's like, it is, isn't it? I was like, we need to go. She's like, it is. Before I know, she's run and told every single staff member that we're all getting fired. And I've said nothing. We go to the event, and the event is remarkable. News cameras, people on stage, questions being asked, hundreds of people in the audience, and I look at the back of the room, and all my staff are standing there looking like this. I'm like, this is the worst moment. We go afterwards, I said, I want to take you all out for a drink. We go to a bar, and I have to say, everyone, I'm sorry. We've run out of money. You guys are amazing. We can't pay you next week. You don't have to come to work. People cried. People yelled at each other. Some people just walked straight out. I was at my lowest point ever. I walked into my office the next day, and our desk, this is actually a photo of where we all used to sit during the day, of 20 people, was empty. I was the only one that rocked up to work. And I was ashamed. I felt like I was a joke. I was like, I should have let Matt, my business partner, run this project, otherwise I wouldn't be here right now. I thought about them. All my staff member had spent the better half of their initial professional career, but also most of the last few months basically telling all their friends, like, we're changing democracy, jump on this platform, do this thing, it's going to be amazing. And now what did they have to say? Like, yeah, it didn't really work, I got fired, the whole thing was a hoax. And so what I noticed in this was that my failure was that I thought this. I thought leadership was about setting big goals, delegating tasks, and speaking confidently. When in fact, that just kept me constantly avoiding the difficult conversations, blaming others and circumstances, and actually starting to look confident more and more and more when really, deep down, I knew nothing was working. And the lesson here is that, and this is from one of my favorite authors, James McGregor Burns, who talks about how in real life, the most practical advice for leaders is not to treat pawns like pawns, nor princes like princes, but all persons like persons. And when I was going through my journey, I just thought these were people that needed to be managed. And I was the one in my diva world trying to sort it all out, and at some point we'll get there and we'll move on to the next group of people. But actually sitting with my team and talking about what was working, what wasn't working, and working through that. But even more so, recognizing that I'm no prince either. In fact, I'm a person as well. And so this quote starts with me as a person actually looking at myself and saying, what are the vulnerabilities or things that I can share with my team right now that can help us resolve what's really going on? Thank you.
We got a question over here.
How are you now? And how are you different?
Question is, how are you now as a manager? How are you different to how you used to be?
To be really frank, this was one of the biggest hits in my career. From this point, the startup kept going, there was a pivot, we started scaling, investors, the likes. But from that point, I was never as confident or as much of a leader as I was up until that point. I didn't actually engage as much. And I still struggle with it. I don't think I'm a very good manager. But if anything, it's about opening up the conversation a little bit more and asking more questions to understand what's really going on. But still struggling to oscillate between kind of here's what we need to do versus what are you sharing that I actually need to understand in order for us to collectively make that decision.
Great, thank you. In the middle here.
I think, I don't know what's become with the product, but you bring up the whole leadership thing quite a lot. Does that mean you still believe in the product and that it was all on your leadership skills, but the product itself was perfect for all the time?
So the question is, where is the product now, and do you still believe in it, or was it a failure of product or a failure of leadership?
I think it was absolutely a failure of leadership. The product is something that we, if we worked, one, I hired a whole bunch of marketers with zero technologists, right? And that was my own leadership fuck up. Like if I thought, okay, we need a mixed team with mixed diversity to actually look at this in a much more complex way, and we do need some data analytics, we do need some people who to look at what the tech gaps are, we would have been in a very different place. Also, the product has evolved a lot more since then, and it has been around actually seeing that once you build a product, it's not like that product's done and it just grows. It's always about iterating and solving those problems day in and day out. And I think our biggest fuck up within that was that we set a goal that was a long-term goal of 1 million users, right? But we didn't set rate-based goals that are like, what are the activities we need to do every month, every week, every day to assess whether or not we're going the right way or where we need to change direction, which we now set more often.
One last up the back. Oh, we might go up the front here.
What do you do today to maintain accountability, and how do you decide when you have like failure in management, or you just need to cut someone off?
All right. What do you do today in terms of managing? That was a really long question.
Maintaining accountability.
Maintaining accountability. How do you do it today?
Two things. If something feels weird, just like talk about it. And also I actually have friends who are accountability buddies that we constantly checking each other to see if there's something that we're not sharing, and we talk about, is there a space in our life where we're being victims to our circumstances, irresponsible, arrogant, or if we're trying to make something morally right and wrong, and what's that happening in our leadership or in our management, and what are we going to do to address that very next day at work. And also I think with team, it is something where you kind of have to cross-check with others what's going on, and if there's someone that's not delivering over and over again, is there a way to either improve their skill set, or what's the gap, or is it something that they need to go?
Right. Thank you for your honesty. Give it up for Eyal.